Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What is up, Myka, man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing?
Oh, I am doing good in this episode 232 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO booking.com, short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world, coming at you from Arlington and Fort Worth, Texas.
What was that?
It feels like we ain't done this in a while, but
holiday.
We took the holidays off a little bit, and my family was sick the whole week of Thanksgiving. We didn't even get to go spend Thanksgiving with the fam, man. It kind of sucked.
Ah, man, you did go over there and pack up some plates and roll, though, right?
No, I just
I'd have masked up, packed up them plates.
I thought about it. We had some tamales from the local Mexican place, so yeah, we were good.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
man. How you been?
Good, man. Spent the week down in Houston. Really good time at my sister's house, and now I'm back to it. Let's get this podcast world going back.
Let's go.
Let's
2
go.
weeks off. Let's go. We got a special guest on the show.
Who we got?
A Miss Gloria Song. So in her bio, she says Gloria Song Foster is the founder of White Dahlia Design. She started her company 6 years ago because she wanted to democratize professional interior design by making it more accessible. Her team at White Dahlia Design makes furnishing or renovating stress-free by having flat rate design packages by the square foot. Their 3D design videos visually show your unit professionally designed in an Instagram-worthy style and budget-friendly manner. They also focus on efficiency because they understand the STR market and how time is money. Welcome to the show, Gloria.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to get you on. As you know, we love interior design. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I suck at it.
Love it because it helps make you more money.
I love that part of it. I love how pretty it, here's the thing. I love like walking into a place, and when it's done right, I can't explain it. I just know, wow, this feels good. I walk in there, there's something up, the design, the decor, everything's just inviting. And you're not at home, because you're at home, you got crap everywhere, that's home. And then you just go somewhere nice and clean, and that's more minimalistic. I like minimalistic, and then but look like, wow, this is thoughtful. Everything's thoughtfully placed, and it's pretty, and it makes sense, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, that's why people get away and book short-term rentals, right? They want a space that inspires them, feels good. That's what vacation's all about. So that's why when people are scrolling, looking at properties, and it doesn't give them that vibe, that feeling through the pictures, they're just going to scroll right on by. So it's really, like, to us, it's like, it's a no-brainer. You have to make it look good for people to want to book it. I mean, of course, there's different tiers of properties, but the ones that make the big bucks are the ones that are, a bit of higher range and cater to that market that want that experience, and then you have less headaches with dealing with not so great, clients and guests. You want that high-end guest that's going to treat your home respectfully, right?
That's a great point. And it's funny, and it's not like funny, but is kind of a thing, like, or if they walk into a crappy place, they're going to treat it like crap. They're not going to care, right? They walk into a place and there's some problems with it, a broken window, whatever the problem is, they don't care about the place. I'm not going to care about their place either. But they walk into a place that's nice and beautifully done and thoughtful and clean and just perfect, and just I'm going to want to leave that place perfect. I'm going to want to leave it as beautiful as I found it, because it's a piece of art.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's about getting the right people, but also, it avoids all the headaches of bad reviews. So you have a place that feels like, we've designed a lot of Airbnbs, and I'm always keeping an eye on the reviews just to see how they're doing after we've designed it. And the reviews always say like how great the place feels, and like the experience of it. And that's what you're looking for. You get nobody wants a bad review, that's bad for business. So part of that is giving them that design experience that, they want to share and want to be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So that's what we're about. And it really surprises me, to be honest. I'm personally booking a ton of short-term rentals because we don't like the winter here. And so we escape to the heat. And so I'm booking all of these, and I'm just shocked how many still are just poorly designed and decorated. Like, as a user, I'm sure people could relate. You just scroll past them because it's not a place you want to spend your holidays or even a minute of your time, Do you guys feel the same, like when you're looking at places?
Yeah. Well, at this point, Airbnb's kind of pushed them all to the bottom. So
yeah. I mean, they've definitely emphasized how important design is. They have an entire category just, well-designed places. So
yeah. Now, on your design, do you do remote design or is everything local?
yeah. So our team, like I said, our company's existed for over 6 years. We've always been fully remote capable. So it's not because of COVID. We've always had this business model because of efficiency, and both for cost effectiveness, but also for time efficiency. We're all time deprived. So we make it really easy by our 3D visual design walkthroughs. So basically, you give us, what budget you're sort of working for, what city you're in, what sort of clients that you want in your space. We cater to the design based on that. We show it to you in a full 3D visual walkthrough. And they're all the real items we source for your place. You click what you like, and we get it ordered to the location of the unit. And then if you already are working with contractors, because it's kind of a gut job and you have renovators there, contractors, we give them the plan and they just build the furniture and hang based on the video. So we equip them just to do it remotely. They don't have to be on site to be dragging furniture, finding furniture, and flying there to figure that all out. We just make it a lot easier for them to get it up and running faster so they can make money quicker, really.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And so we've worked with a lot of Airbnb investors across, different cities for sure. Because once a person gets started, they get hooked and they look at new locations. It's usually not close to their old place. So yeah, we work with clients wherever they end up investing in.
So, and I noticed you said something very interesting in your bio. You said you set up flat rate design packages by the square foot. So like, how much are you charging per square foot, or is there like certain tiers and packages?
Yeah, so it depends if it's a renovation job or if it's a furnishing job. So basically with renovations, a little more trickier. We have to be involved earlier in the timeline to make sure the contractors have like the actual finishes design plan and layout. Those are a little more complicated. So it's around $5 a square foot. But if it's just furnishing where we are, everything's in place and we're sourcing the furniture, it's turnkey, then it's around $4 a square foot. Again, if that's just some ballpark numbers to throw around, but that's with us just managing all of the ordering, the design work, get everything to the space. So really, they don't have to do much on the design side except take a look at the design and okay it, and we get it going.
That is super affordable because I do renovations, and that's how I charge my contractors. We do a per square foot. So I'm doing most jobs like 25 per square foot. And if I had you come in $30 per foot, that's awesome. Go ahead.
To be clear, that is the design work. So they do need a furniture budget. So it's not like per square foot furnishing. Like we give a recommendation we take a look at the space and say, how much furniture do you need? This is our design fee. It's flat rate design fee, but then they can tell us like, what, we have a sofa already, or we have some things we're bringing in from another space. If they did an arbitrage and they're done and they're bringing some stuff over to the new one, then we take a look at what budget they need to actually furnish.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So how did you get into design? I mean, what's your backstory?
Yeah. So actually, my background is in business. So I studied my undergrad in business. I did an MBA, and I've always had a personal passion for design. I have a team of right now we've got about 12 designers, and they're amazing, formally trained in interior design and great. I kind of run the company to make sure that we, with project managers, to make sure we're on time, we know what we're doing. Whereas for me, I love running the background of the business, like thinking of how we can grow it, how our value makes sense. Like, we didn't start with the Airbnb market. We started with your standard residential. And then we realized like what we do really helps people that are investors in this because of our efficiency and our model to be able to work remotely. But we didn't start that way. So my background has been in business, and I saw also that interior design was this like extremely expensive thing that was offered for like the top 1%, like, oh, can you afford a designer? Wow. It's like $40,000 just to get a design for a bathroom. So I had friends who knew that I had a personal passion for design come to me and say, can you help me? Like, I know you love this stuff. And I realized people didn't have a place to go to that couldn't afford a traditional designer. They had Pinterest maybe and magazines, but they didn't know how to pull it off. Like, everyone knows what they like. Like, I like this sort of vibe, this feel, but they just couldn't recreate it in their own homes. So I wanted to find a way to make it more affordable for people to get proper professional help without having to pay $40,000 for, a powder room. So that's where this came about. And I also wanted to use technology and bring it into the new age rather than having to go shop with your designer in store. I'm like, that's just as time costly as doing it yourself,
Now, one question I do have, because that's crazy. So let's say I'm doing a rehab on a property, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll actually help control that rehab and set it up how you want it designed. Is that what you guys do as well?
Like, by rehab, you mean you're renovating?
Yeah, I'm renovating. Yeah.
Yeah. So generally what happens, we aren't like on site with the contractors. Like, if you already have contractors, trusted people you work with, I mean, your background is in a lot of renovating, so like you have a team. What we do is our design work makes sure that everybody's on the same page and there aren't any costly misunderstandings.
Okay.
So, and everyone knows what the finishes are, what colors the paint, like our 3D design, basically you give to your contractor and say like, this is what it's going to look like in the end. And then like, especially if you're remote and you're not on site every day, it's like, here's the full design video. Like, you're literally walking through the space. We're even VR capable if needed, so that your contractors can't say, oh, I didn't know the backsplash was supposed to be there, or like this wall was supposed to be here. You just give them the plan, and then there's no excuses of to like why it's not exactly like this.
I'll be calling you in like 2 months.
Yeah. Well, I'll be happy to work with you. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is what I needed. You would have saved me a whole bunch of time if I would have had you. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the stress of like, I have to be on site, make sure they put it in the right place. And this way you're signing off on this plan. And essentially with a package, we work with you. You get like a round of revisions with us. We tweak it. When you're 100% happy with the design, you give it to the contractor. Like, this is what we're doing. Here are the materials that are in this design. This is what it needs to look like. And of course, if there's limitations to the space, like where the rough-ins are, where structural wall is, then your contractor lets us know that, and we incorporate that into the design. Yeah.
Wow. This is mind blowing. Go ahead, Steve.
Real quick, because I'm fascinated by the whole 3D software technology, whatever. And yeah, Sarah told us all about how awesome it is. And so what I want to do on this show a little bit is show the YouTube viewers, what it looks like, if you don't mind sharing your screen, if Myka can make it shareable. And for those following along, at home or on listening to the podcast and cleaning your house or whatever, you could go to your website. What website is that where you can see the 3D renderings?
Yeah, White Dahlia. So it's the color white, and then Dahlia's DAHLIA design.com. We are about to launch just an Airbnb specific site, actually. It's called Airbnb Design Lab. And so that's just going to be catering straight to all of our Airbnb clients. Right now, our main site caters to, our commercial, our small business, and our residential. So we're parsing it out in a sub brand just so that you guys don't have to see all the stuff that you don't want to know or need to know. So our Airbnb one should be launching in the new year. So, but right now, if they just go to the White Dahlia Design website, they'll be able to see some samples of all that and our process.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share the screen. And also a question for you too. Can you use though your 3D designs after it's all said and done, completed? Can you kind of use that for Instagram? Was it Instagram marketing for your business?
Yeah, great point. So I was just going to say that a huge benefit of our design is that, of course, you can use it for social media to for the space. But another one is that, let's just say it's a renovation job and you want to see how many people are interested. Like let's just see it's like a test market. What's the uptake? We don't have full photos of the space. You can use our 3D video. There's an extra fee to get it highly rendered to be realistic. So we can do realistic renders. So you can use that to start pre-booking.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So then that way you get peace of mind. You're dropping like 80K on these renos and you're like, is this going to rent out? You know what? We'll render them to look like realistic photos and then you start booking with those.
That's
Yeah.
a game changer right there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me just open up the video and then I'll share. But I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can use the videos. I really feel like for marketing, everybody's visual. It's hard to pre-book without images. So yeah, this is just a way to get ahead of the game. Share my screen now, but again, you can easily find all of this on our website. So I'm just going to figure out how to share the screen. Share screen.
And by the way, we'll have the this in the show notes. So everyone, if you want to go there, and if you're listening on a podcast, you can hit the YouTube channel up and watch what she's doing. Oh, I love this.
Yeah. So here's an example. This was an example of the video. Obviously, this isn't highly rendered. This is something that you would give the contractor to say, here's all the furniture placement. You can see where the patio set's going. You go through and so every single item in this design is a real item to scale to the space. So you can be like, I want that exact sofa, that coffee table, that artwork. And of course we discuss your budget beforehand. So all of this stuff will be in your budget. And then you see the layout. So you give this video to your contractor and you're like, yeah, just place it exactly where it is in the video. And some some of our Airbnb investors are on site where it's close to their home. They might want to save money by just coming in and doing placing things themselves or bring a handyman in with them to help them do that. So this is an example, of what you would get. And then this is VR capable, but we don't, a lot of clients are doing Airbnb don't need the full VR. As you can see things pretty clearly. But if you want something like this, still images highly rendered for your listing, we can do that as well. Of course, it's an add-on, but if you need that, we can do it.
You said VR capable? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's what instantly crossed my mind. It feels like we're walking through this house, right? Just looking at our computer screens. But I was just like, man, imagine having some VR goggles on and walking through this house. It feels like real life, man. That's a trip.
Yeah, we definitely have that. But as you know, I'm sure guests we're not there at that level of needing it. We do that a lot for our builder clients, our home builders. So in their presentation centers, you can virtually walk through the space. But yeah, I mean, it's an option. If they want to be VR capable, we are going into 2023. Maybe everyone will have a pair of goggles at home pretty soon. So who knows?
Hey, is that Mark Zuckerberg in the bathroom?
What? Mark? Yeah, look at the bathroom. We just plopped him in there in the design.
He lives in VR now, so that's all good for him.
But as you can see, when we design Airbnb spaces, it's about comfort and knowing how a person goes through and uses a space. A hook should be there because they need a place to put their bathrobe, where are they going to put their luggage? What kind of bedding is easily washed so your cleaners don't have to, wash 5 different things. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. A space that it's going to give you a good review and also photograph well. It needs to have a feature wall. It needs to be captivating. The photographer has a focal space in each room is key for us too. And just, those are the big things we do when we design Airbnb spaces. It's different than a residential, right? It needs to have this mass appeal that's highly functional. Nothing bothers me more than a beautiful magazine worthy space, but you have nowhere to put your coffee cup or nowhere to put your feet up when you want to sit. So those are the things that we're very careful about.
I am going to tell all of our listeners, if you are using the BRRRR strategy, this is definitely a service you want to use right here. This is a game changer. I love this. Like I'm dead
Thanks.
serious. I'm calling you in 2 months because I have some work for you guys. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're excited. That'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your design I guess strategy? I don't know. All I know, I've heard of the term feng shui. That's all I've ever
Yeah.
heard of. Or art deco. I guess I've heard another one. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is your influences?
Yeah. So for us, our design team on all our projects, we're about, bringing the space, like for Airbnb, it's about making the space speak to the clientele that you're after. So, and the city you're in. Like we're not designing a New York condo the same way we're designing a condo in Texas or Florida. It's about why are people coming here? Like why you think it's with a business mindset. So you want, all the, let's just say in New York, people are coming for Broadway shows and all of that, like you want to speak to that. So our design is very much, it's not about our personal design philosophy and the designs we like. It's about what's going to captivate the audience that you want to come into your space. So if you're right next to the Broadway shows, and that's your key clientele that usually books, we're gonna make it feel like that. We're gonna have big posters up. It's gonna have a captivating like vibe that speaks to theater, and then, but also not niche that it like isolates anyone else. And then another thing for us is very much, like I said, knowing that everything needs to be durable, that it's, high traffic, that you have more turnover than a regular residential space. But our design also incorporates like taking a look at the competition. So like the Airbnb down the street, like what do they have? Do they have a hot tub? Do they have, like games, like simple little things? Like those are things that are, you need to know, like kind of what the market is in your area. So when we do design, it's not about our personal taste. It's about what's going to make you look good on those listings.
It's funny you mentioned that real quick, a hot tub, for example, and what it made me think of is that guest we came on that's from upstate New York, these cabins, right? And she just talked about how much more money the cabins that came with the hot tub outside made as to opposed to the ones that didn't come with a hot tub. And so something like that, I mean, you would kind of research that too, see what's, in the area, what's making good money, and amenities, and you would try to add that to their listings.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were so happy to work with the Carwells, like Sarah and her team and everyone, doing lots of Airbnbs together. And we've they're expert investors, and we learned a lot about that through them, to be honest, about, amenities, like even having little games, having extra little touches. And yes, hot tubs, people love hot tubs and pools and outdoor amenities and the things that, that they will talk about. So, and of course, you want to look at what your competitors have, because they're going to maybe book that one over yours because it does have that hot tub, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. And I mean, we're talking about design. I suck at it, whatever. But but I know it looks good. I know it gets me to scroll, right? And then Myka alluded to it earlier, that if you open up Airbnb and you just see the front page, it's these beautiful freaking listings, right? I mean, these amazing listings. You haven't even looked for a city yet. You're like, holy crap. And so I one of them that caught my eye was in Marfa, Texas. And so I've never been to Marfa. I've never even had a desire to go, but it just made me click, and I clicked on it, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's just like minimalistic, like window house, right in the middle of the freaking desert. There's some mountains in the horizon, and then it has this like super metal roof on top of it. I guess it helps protect the house, and then it has like, I mean, it has 360 views, and the design inside is just so clean and crisp and minimalistic, and then your windows you can see everywhere. And I mean, it showed all these different pictures, but the cameraman he did a real good job of telling the story, right? And
Mhm.
so I was like drawn into this story of this house, and the design was so cool. The windows open up, you could see everything. You could be a part. You'll feel like you're a part of it, part of it all, part of the universe. And you see that at night, it shows these stars so bright, and it shows these like I don't know, I can go on and on. It shows all these different things that you see there that is really cool, and
Mhm.
and so I guess a long story short, part of what I was getting at is how important is the photography, and not just regular, take a picture for the MLS photography, but how important is the photography, especially trying to tell a story to these people?
Oh my God, so important. Like I said, we're all visual. What stops you scrolling is a beautiful photo, right? Like you have a great design, but you don't show it off well. And you mean, and the investment in a photographer to take those photos is such a minimal investment compared to what you've already spent on, furnishing a place or renovating. So 100%. Like spend that little extra money to get professional photos goes a long way. I have to say, like, that's just a no-brainer to me. Like, get those gorgeous shots that's bright and airy, make the wide angle shots that make the space look like very like, open, 100%. Like with like cell phone photos with your like, I know iPhones are powerful these days, but just you taking it on your own is not going to do the same. So you can A/B test that if you want yourself, like test two listings, one with your own cell phone photos and one with professional. I can guarantee you those professional shots are going to get you way more bookings.
Yeah, Airbnb can flag those those iPhone photos real quick.
Yeah.
So,
And I have to say, like, I know that it's not as push, but Airbnb Plus, for example, they include professional photography for that reason. And if you get that plus status, one of the criteria is professionally or really well designed spaces. So that's what they're looking for. These sites know what people book, and it is based on design and good photography. Like it wouldn't be a criteria for the plus program if it didn't matter, right?
yeah. And well, I'm kind of scrolling through your IG right now, and for the people listening, you definitely want to check it out because I love how one of your reels, it shows you the 3D format and then how you guys brought it to life from 3D to really setting it up. I'm like, wow, this thing is awesome. So yeah, and I love how you guys design the air vents because I have some older homes that still have the air vents on the ground. So I love
Yeah.
how you guys match those in. I'm like, oh man, because those things are ugly if you don't just leave them. I'm saying. I'm still trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to get those.
It's all
Designed
about
in.
tricks of the trade. But
Yep.
yeah, I think that's one part that I think shocks people. It's like, oh my God, it looks exactly like the 3D walkthrough. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the whole point. But
Yeah.
I think if people haven't, when they're the first time working with us, like, okay, that's a model, but like really every item in there is a real item. So it should look exactly like the design.
Okay.
And yeah. Yeah. And
So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, talking about A/B testing, we've had investors where they've done their own space and then they've hired us to do their space. It's sort of like an A/B test of like their old property. I mean, there's a lot of variables such as like the location and all of that, but they've seen like a huge difference. Ones where they've kind of brought in their own furniture, tweaked it a bit and made it work, and then brought us in to design one. And like, we can even show you the difference of the like one of the clients of the two properties and how well they do, and versus like the sort of reviews they get on each. It's just night and day.
Mm. Now, going back real quick to the photographer, because here's the thing: you're not going to be there to help, point them in the in the right direction, or as they say. Because I remember Sarah, when she was designing, early on, she was like on hands designing things, and she would install and everything, and then she said, I have to be there for let me know when the photographer comes. I have to be there for them because I'm gonna so that you're not there. How do you help direct them into how you want the pictures to come out and tell the story you want to tell?
Yeah, well, first of all, we'd have a shot list of, what needs to be captured. We want detail shots of certain things, what sort of angles we want. often what we do is we do stills of the design video, and like this is the exact angle we want to show, like side by side. This is going to look like just like you said on Instagram, like this angle is the design and the exact same angle is the actual space, and you can see like it's the same. So we give them angle shots of like, this is what you need to include in your shot list. Beyond that, also, so it's pretty clear because again, it's visual. No one likes to read. You can see this picture, you're like, that's the one I need to shoot in the exact angle, and they generally get it. But also choosing a photographer that is a commercial photographer, so, or residential for like, you know, real estate photography, so that their background isn't you know, weddings and babies. So their background is in real estate. They know exactly what they should be doing, what lenses they should be using. We give them samples too of photos that we want, that we've had in the past that we love. So that ensures they have enough information. And you just have to, like, usually real estate photographers know exactly what is needed, but we give them guidance, of course. Just don't choose a photographer that is like, you know, everyone thinks that's a photographer is a photographer. No, some photographers specialize in headshots. You know, they're not going to shoot your Airbnb well. So
right. Now what was funny is because every now and then we have a friend of the family or someone that we're setting up a unit for, and so and so's son is starting to take, do photography. He can go shoot the house for you. He's got a nice camera, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, he wants to go try it. That's fine. I don't want to crush someone's spirit that's trying to get into it. But every single time that a young dude, sends his photography pictures that he's the first time he's ever shot a house, I mean, you see it's all close-ups of the wine glass with the blurred background, or close-ups of the dial of the stove. I mean, they're trying to do this artsy fartsy stuff. I'm like, no. It's cool, I guess, looking, but no, you don't do that anymore. That's maybe the old days when people first started shooting these Airbnbs, but now, you want the nice, big, wide, clean shots of the places. It's just funny to me. It always comes back. The ones just starting out, they want to use their fancy schmancy camera to do these close up, angles.
Yeah, I mean, I equate it to kind of like design. People are like, oh yeah, I know what to do. I like design. I've always liked shopping. Like, I can do this. And then it's like, yeah, like there's a little more to it than that, same with photography. It's like, just because you have a camera doesn't mean that you can translate it well as a story, like you said. It's like, it's in the creative field. I think sometimes it's easy to take it for like, granted, like, oh, I think I can do it, which is great. But like, really, it's just not, I guess it's, how do you say, like, you really see the quality and difference in the end result, but sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I can do it on my own, and I'm sure you can take a photo with your iPhone, like you said, like your nephew could maybe take a photo too, but it's just different in the end result. So I would caution that and say, this is your investment. So spend a little money to make more money, right?
I fully agree. I know what you mean, Steve, because I have those people that want to bring their own camera, man. People think you get a camera in YouTube, they're now photographers. I'm like, I don't think they work like that. So yeah, I fully agree.
No, so that's cool. Do you do commercial too, or just residential?
Yeah, we do some commercial, but I would say our bread and butter is Airbnbs and residential. We do some small businesses, which we do love. We love translating a brand into a physical space. Lots of fun, very creative. But but our bread and butter is definitely like Airbnbs, working with home developers and your homeowners.
So what's your Mona Lisa? What's your favorite property that you've done? You're like, holy crap, I really did something here.
Yeah, that's so hard. Like I said, like, it's not about our style, right? It's about translating our clients' styles, and they're so different. Like, some people are just like bold and they've got crazy style and it's so much fun. And then we design a space that's clean and minimalistic and it's like, wow, it's gorgeous. So I don't know if there's one that is we did just design a local celebrity's home in her name's Nicole Cervinas. She's a TV personality. And I gotta say that was pretty fun. She's just a lot of fun to work with, and her house is beautiful. I'm like, yeah, we had a really great shoot with her recently. So that sticks in my mind because yeah, it was just a lot of fun overall. So it pops up in my head, and it's probably your style, I have to say, Steve. Minimalistic, clean, neutrals, looks great in a magazine kind of thing.
I mean, I like the crazy too, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I have background as an artist, so I used to draw, and I was a colorist. I love colors, so I love.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's done well, I mean, you
Mhm.
come into a space with really colorful, you know, paintings or murals and stuff. I think it's really cool.
Mhm.
I think Myka said on the show one time though, be sure who your clientele is, because if you're doing
Mhm.
like, you know, for travel nurses and stuff like that, that funky, colorful, crazy painting might not be good for a 3-month stay. You know, it might.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's like, that's what I'm saying. It has to speak to the place. Like I do
Yeah.
that in New York, like a really funky vibe in New York, because you got to capture their attention. Um, whereas, you know, like you said, if it's a healthcare worker, they want to go home and relax and feel like they're in a spa, you know? So it is really knowing your market.
Mm. So
Mhm.
what are some tips you would give to young designers out there that want to get into it?
Young designers, huh? I think it's just, you know, some of this is just, I find this in any industry, to be honest. A lot of people have preconceived notions of what a certain job is like. And they think it's, you know, they go into the industry without having any sort of real firsthand knowledge. So in any job, I would say go, like, you know, intern, volunteer, go work with a few different firms. Every firm is different, and get some, like, know what niche you want to be in. Like being like a drafting AutoCAD drafter is very different than what we do. And so it's like, I think people make assumptions about an industry without actually going and seeing it. I would say I highly recommend for someone in design school just to go into a few firms, even if it's just job shadowing, and see what it's like. And yeah, I think then you know where you want to end up, you know?
Mm.
Mhm.
So what about, I like to ask these questions, some hacks. Like we've had designers on the show. What are some design hacks that don't cost a lot of money, you know, but they can
Mhm.
really make a space stand out?
Hmm. Hacks. I'm
Like
trying to
that plant,
think.
for example. I mean, just like a simple plant would probably make a room look good. I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm in my boardroom right now, so I can't say that it's super well designed in this moment, but a boardroom is a boardroom. But I have to say that you know, like, good point about plants. It's like a place needs to have a feeling, you know, and definitely greenery makes a place feel warm. I have to say that every client we speak, not every, I would say a high percentage of clients that we speak to say, like for residential, they want to feel cozy. That word comes up constantly. I want to feel cozy in this space. And so these are the people that are coming to your homes, right? Like they want to feel cozy in their own homes. So I think one thing about Airbnbs is that people often think you just need essentials. You just need a nightstand, a lamp, a bed, and you're good. That's all people need. But that's not what makes people feel good. It's like the soft throw pillow and the throw and the little plant in the corner. And maybe there's a, like, you know, like a candle at the, like, or a little like yeah, like a little thing that you can put your book on in the bathtub. So like all of those things I think can be forgotten in a lot of Airbnb spaces. And so I think like a hack would be to get the good reviews, at least, is just like remembering that cozy is what your guests are generally after. That's kind of like a general hack, but I mean, like, little hacks of like design hacks, I think pops of color go a long way for photography. So even like if you have an old, you know, bookcase that is, that you're bringing in because you're trying to be budget friendly, like remake it with putting like colorful wallpaper in the background of the bookcase so something pops out when it's being photographed. It's just not a big clunking brown piece of furniture sitting there. So if you don't have a huge budget and you need to kind of work with some things that you already have, think about cost-effective ways to redo it a bit, you know, and refresh it a bit. And mixing different things, like I would say, certain things you should splurge on, certain things you can save on. So people, like, for example, a light fixture is a big statement in a room. Like, as you know, like you walk in a room, if there's this beautiful chandelier, you're like, whoa, there's a vibe going on here. So like light fixtures are huge. People often forget about it. They're like,
dude.
oh, we got the bed, we got the rug, we're good, done. But you've got this awful 70s like light fixture hanging there. Or a pet peeve of mine is the builder grade lighting. We call them boob lighting. They're just like a like it's like a round thing with like a little point. So we hate those. It's like if you have like very intentional like lighting in a space, like you don't have to change all of them, but if you're very intentional in that, it does make a big difference. Yeah. And yeah, you're looking up at your light right now, like the vibe of the lighting. Nobody wants to come in and feel like they're in an office, like that LED bright lighting might be cost effective, you're thinking, but like go with the softer lighting that's also energy efficient. Like things like that go a long way.
Dude, lighting, no one's ever brought that up on the show. It's so it's so cool. You don't notice it till you notice it, right? And then like we just got this arbitrage in Grand Prairie over here close to us, and it's beautiful, but they got those 1970s ceiling fans in there and with the lights. And I'm like, oh God. So am I gonna have to change out ceiling fans? But I mean, when you notice like a light fixture is like, holy smokes. I mean, it really changes the room. I
It
never,
does, yeah.
it's
One
amazing.
Airbnb we just designed, I think it was in Milwaukee, had this like it's funny because you don't think you're gonna splurge on like light fixtures, right? You're like, oh, splurge on the sofa, but like we spent less on the sofa and splurged on this like gorgeous like Art Deco like light, and it just speaks to the whole space, like pulls it together. And yeah, I guess people would never expect that sometimes,
Most of your clients, are they these people that do arbitrage or people that own properties?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. I know that some are arbitrage, but some are doing like full gut job renos. It really depends. We're low, like, we do it across Canada and the US. We've even done some in like Germany. So it really depends on, like I said, we're fully remote. We can work with people across globally. So really it depends. And it's like in Germany, for example, people, when you get a new space, like even if you're a renter, like an arbitrage situation, they don't come with kitchens. Like people take their kitchens with them when they leave to their next apartment. So like there's a lot of like when you say that, there's a lot of different design aspects really depending on the location and the needs. Yeah.
I love this because all the stuff you're talking about, I'm like, man, this is like really going through my head, like changing out light fixtures. I'm like, well, if it's an arbitrage, I don't know if I can just change it out, but if I own it, and if it's like part of a reno process, you can really deck this place out because you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And generally, like, I mean, I'm sure situation is different for arbitrage, but like changing out light fixture, as you know, as a contractor, it's not that difficult. It's not like, it's not like you're taking down a wall or anything like that. It's like literally swapping out the fixture. You can even keep the fixture and put it back if you want, like, but it sounds like a bigger task than it actually is.
Okay.
Isn't there like a famous show now called White Dahlia?
No, that's White Lotus, and I have to watch it. Everyone keeps telling me I need to watch that show. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes, but apparently it's a hit. White Lotus.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of free advertising for you if you have that, White
Too
Lotus.
bad it's not White Dahlia.
You could change it to White Lotus Designs, though. You can.
I mean, it's got a nice ring to it, but I think it's a little late for that.
So, what was I gonna get at? Okay, people are gonna go to her website and look at these 3D renderings. They're freaking awesome. Now I know you said $4 a square foot for design if you're gonna design someone's place. Now, what if they just want they want like I don't know, is this even a thing you do? Like, okay, here's my space, here's the how big it is and the rooms and stuff. Can you give me like I don't know, make a design for me for a certain price that you're not going to go order and do all the whole process? What if someone just wants an idea of what it could look like?
Yeah, I mean, we can consult like then that's just our regular hourly rate. If they have just some questions and they want some advice, we're happy to do that. We have like a light package as well, where we just kind of do a little mood board for them and say, this is the vibe you should go after. So definitely can do that. But I mean, to be honest, it's not going to get your space done faster. You're still going to have to be hands-on. So if they're open to that they are going to be the hands-on sort of person for their property, sure, we can consult. But I would say what we offer the best value that we offer is that you have that peace of mind that is just going to be done and ready to go and listed sooner than later. And that it's going to look good. So I find that we can definitely consult, give you a general direction of the style you should go after, but then it's that photography kind of vibe, right? Like, oh, I got a camera, I can take photos. It's the same thing. It's like, I can consult and give you a design plan, but I would say the majority of people aren't able to execute it. But if they want that plan and they like are like, they're like confident, they have a design background, or they know they can, like Sarah, for example, then yeah, we'll consult and give you a direction to go in for sure.
No, you bring me up. Steve brought up another point because you're talking about the packages. Like on the renovation side, do you guys have like a space where you guys just only do the rent? Like, hey, we can call White Dahlia and they'll just handle the renovation part of it for us, like the backsplashes, what backsplashes to put in, what cabinets to put in. Do you guys have that flooring and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So that's the package where we do the like 3D design, where we're not on site working with your contractor, but the design is like the floor plan I just showed earlier. Like it's based on like what you're modifying, and we're going to show you the end result of the renovation. So that's like your roadmap for your contractors, like I mentioned, and for yourself. And in that, we'll show design concepts of like, this is the backsplash that should go in. This is the type of flooring that should go in, and we'll have it all like there. We can either source it for you or give you the conceptual design of what the material should be, like brass handles, things like that. And then your contractor sources the actual materials, because often contractors want to do that because then they can manage the timeline of when materials show up. So but we do the conceptual design of like, this is the paint color, this is the backsplash. You go find all of this. The contractor will find all the similar things based on our recommendations. So yeah, that way we know, like, instead of you having to look at 50 samples of like, oh, is this backsplash going to work? I don't know. I can't tell. There's nothing in the room right now. We make all those design decisions for you and show it to you. And then you're confident in those design decisions, right? Like, okay, this is why we have a penny tile here. Then this is what it's going to look like, versus arbitrarily deciding, I guess I'll do this blue tile here, Yeah.
That is what I'm not good at. Happy you do it.
Yeah. We make those decisions. I mean, renovating is just 1,001 decisions, right? We're eliminating the decision fatigue.
Now, tell me if I'm way off base with this, because I always love to look at Zillow and the different real estate in different parts of the country, right? And so, for example, you'll see like, okay, you can buy a freaking McMansion here, right? In the Dallas Fort Worth area for like 500,000. You could buy a freaking McMansion, right? This badass place, whatever. Whereas for $2 million in Southern California, you could buy like a 1 bedroom and a closet, 900 square foot house, right? So it's like, but that being said, they got to really make that place look beautiful, that little bitty spot that they want $2 million for, right? They got to go in there. And so I always see like these design trends start like in Southern California. I don't know if I'm way off base here, but I like these brass fixtures and stuff. I was like, oh, I saw that when I was looking at the SoCal homes, and now they're over here in Texas. People are like, oh yeah, let's put brass everywhere. In the 70s are like, what's up with we were popular in the 70s, what's going on? And so like the brass,
it sounds like fashion, it's cyclical, right?
And it all starts in SoCal. It's so weird, but yeah, all these trends, all these different backsplashes, I see them like, start there, or start these places where they really have to get this cool cutting edge design, and then it trickles over to the rest of the country. Is that a thing?
I would argue that it's even bigger than that. Design starts in Europe a lot of the time. And
they invented pergola. Thank you, Europe.
Yeah, like I think that like a lot of it is global now, not just, within our own country and space. Like I feel like inspiration is brought from around the world. And then, like even when I was it's like like in Asia, like surprisingly, some things like we're 2 years behind on, you see it there first. So yeah, it's a thing that's like, when you see something go viral, like, or a trend, you're like, why is everyone now wearing wide-legged pants? Like, like it's the thing. It's like it starts and then it kind of waterfalls to everyone. So yeah, you're right. It starts somewhere, but yeah, it's kind of this big of like you can't really pinpoint exactly where all the time, but everybody knows what's trendy. Like, we all know. So yeah, and I think that's the thing is that it's what we're going for Airbnb is mass appeal most of the time. So trends are important.
So, Gloria, what can
Mhm.
you speak to towards the Wayfair effect?
Mm.
What do you mean by that? Yeah, tell me.
It just seemed like it started, when we've been in Airbnb since the beginning. So once people discovered Wayfair, it looked cool at first, the what do they call it? What is that style? I don't know what that style is that they I don't know. Whatever. Broken. Oh gosh, I forgot what mid-century modern. Anyways,
Yes, yeah,
Wayfair
mid-century modern. Yeah,
took
yeah.
that and ran with it, right? And then all of a sudden, after a few years, it looked like Wayfair threw up all over Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? So what can you say to that kind of? And we've all discovered it looks cool, I guess, initially back then, anyways, and it all breaks pretty quickly. So what can you say to that?
Yeah, so I think the thing that maybe some people don't realize who aren't in the industry is that Wayfair is just a middle person. Like they are not a brand supplier. So like CB2, Urban Barn, Restoration Hardware, their brand, like they have a clear design brand. Wayfair is a platform like Amazon, like any other. They actually even have like airplane pricing that changes like minute to minute. So basically, it's like if you're using Wayfair, you need to know their suppliers well. And they actually have a wide range of price points, design styles. And so we use them as a resource for a lot of our Airbnbs because they're a tech company, technically. They aren't a furniture company, they're a tech company. They're about logistics, efficiency, algorithms, and all of that, that they can get things to you really quick compared to a traditional like supplier. So we rely on them for projects that need to be done fast, and that's a lot of Airbnb projects. So the thing is, yes, you can obviously source just in this mid-century modern brands through Wayfair, and maybe they were pushing that through their advertising. But the truth is, they're not just limited to that. They have a lot of breadth of suppliers that you can choose from glam to contemporary. So there is a lot. You just need to know how to navigate a really large platform. So yes. So I think that people don't realize that sometimes that they aren't one specific style and that they aren't that they're a tech company that really focuses on logistics.
Now you don't have to give up your supplier, but let's say you have like a little bit longer time to get your place set up. Do you guys use things outside of Wayfair? Can you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
we actually ask our clients if it's just a residential project and not Airbnb, like that they like what are the suppliers that they love. It gives us an idea of their comfort level, a price point, quality of items and style, and then we go from there. Like we can technically use any retailer, and a lot of them we have like partnerships with, but if we don't, we can figure that out as well. But yeah, so some people want to be environmentally friendly, some people want to be local. So since we source everything online, if someone's like, I really need to see a sofa and make sure that it's comfortable, then we source it from a local shop in their city. So it really depends on their comfort zone of suppliers and we make it work. But we have the ones that we like, and the ones that we like, have great customer service. We're like, obviously that's huge, so that we can help them if something doesn't arrive or comes damaged. We like to use certain suppliers because we know they'll take care of the client. So we're the middle person in that way. Like we aren't selling our it's not our furniture. So like we will obviously want to recommend suppliers are like, if something happens or they're good to deal with and they'll help. We can advocate for you.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but technically we can use whatever suppliers that a client like prefers. Yeah. So it's a wide breadth. Again, it just depends where they are. And if they want to see certain things, we're happy to source locally too.
So what are some design no-nos? For example, we've learned just doing this for a long time. Do not get beds with wooden slats because they break all the time. And then canopy beds because all the freaking bolts and screws pop loose. You know, people use it a lot.
What are people doing on those beds?
Leaving handcuffs behind and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for us, it's like I mentioned, making sure that like flipping for the next guest is easy and simple. Having duvets that you can just throw in the wash really easily. Having a bit of like a turnaround plan for that. Things that are durable. For us, ruggable, like rugs that you can wash. Things that hide dirt, like rugs that aren't white and fluffy, like things that are more natural fibers that you can get away with a little more. So for us, it's about, the big no-nos are just focused on making it look pretty, but not realizing that this is going to be much more high traffic than your own home. We get trapped into sometimes thinking, oh, that's so nice. Like it looks so good. And then realizing that it's not going to last. And also I think people often are on a tight budget and they're like, let's do IKEA for everything. And it's like, you're going to regret that. It's just all going to break and you're going to have to do it all over again. And then you're going to have to pay for someone to come put it all together. So yeah, it's just, I think people, of course, are very cost focused because it's an investment. And they're looking at their margins and how much they're already putting into it. But the truth is, like, you gotta sometimes, like I said, put a little more money to it to avoid those headaches.
Yeah, IKEA is the biggest mistake you can make.
Just don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you put that together and 2 weeks later you need new furniture everywhere. So yeah, I wouldn't make that mistake. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great episode. What do you think, Myka?
This has been a great episode, and I'm definitely calling you in 2 months when I get this new property, because I haven't met anyone who's done what you're doing, you basically, you can do a renovation, then you can turn it into the short-term rental. And this is why I say short-term rentals are in its infancy right now, because there's so many things that are coming about from it. And that's a big one, because now I'm actually getting into renovations. I'm actually doing one now, and it's been way over budget and way over time. So if I had someone like you to come in and handle that, that'd be perfect. I can't wait to work with you.
Yeah. And I think it's what we can help is people that have multiple properties in different places. You get used to working with our team. You don't have to find a designer in every location that you have a property. You get used to how we work and how quick it is. And I think that's helpful, is that some of the headache is people like, okay, now I got to go find another designer in this city and someone that can do this in this city. So we can be consistent and work with them across all the properties. And really all they need to do is go on the site. And our first thing is just book a call with our team, get to know us, and we get to know your property. We chat a bit. So I guess the first, if you want to start with your property, it's just to go on our site, and there's an easy link to book a call, and it's just a 30-minute intro, like consult call. Tell us about your space and how we can help you.
Love it.
So where can people find you again, Gloria?
Yeah, so whitedahliadesign.com, and in the future it'll be Airbnb Design Labs, but you can still reach us at whitedahliadesign.com. And on Instagram and Facebook, we're just at White Dahlia Design.
Airbnb Design Lab. So you can use the name Airbnb in that?
Yeah, so it's just a sub brand for us. Okay. Where it still will sit on White Dahlia Design.
Cool. All righty. Well, thank you so much for hopping on, and we look forward to having you on again and designing some places for us in the future.
Yeah, sounds great. Lovely chatting with you guys. Well, I hope that we'll get to work together soon.
Yes. All right.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Man, that was a really good episode. That one right there. That's like, I swear, every time you get on a podcast, what you need comes right here on the podcast. It's like, that's what I've been like really needing. I'm like, I need somebody to just design it, do the renovation. And if her team could do that, I already have I have the team. the renovation team, but if I had somebody, pick out backs, I don't like doing that shit. So if I had her doing it, I'm like, man, yeah, this was awesome. I'm loving this. I'm definitely using them.
No, I love it, man. And that tip about lighting, man, everybody forgets about that. We just okay, what kind of furniture, what kind of rugs, what kind of TV. That's all we think about. But lighting, man, that's important stuff.
It is. On this rehab I'm actually doing, my sister was like, you should do recessed lights because you can kind of dim them and go up and down. And those have been a hit. You're right. Lighting. I never thought about it either. It is a hit. That's a big hit, man.
Oh yeah, the mood lights. Put some Barry White on. Let's get it on.
We don't want the canopy beds breaking. No.
Oh man, Gloria Song. Yeah, another great guest for another great podcast.
Yeah, it was, man. And but yeah, for the people that are doing like renovations, I definitely think you should give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'll definitely be letting y'all know how it goes because I think that's huge. That's one of those things like I don't want to take no damn ceiling fan in an arbitrage. I got to put it back up. You're just like, But if it's mine, and you're like doing like BRRRRs, that's all that was going through my head. I'm like, this is a perfect idea. So yeah, I think this is a really good kit. That's a game changer right there.
But cool, man. So hit her up. Go look at her 3D designs. They're freaking mind blowing. You can walk through these houses. It's nuts.
Yeah, and then you can use it to promote on your Instagram. And that's one thing that Airbnb's missing on. VRBO lets you do it now. You can put a 3D rendering up there. You can put a 3D design, and you can let people walk through the house. I'm like, damn, they let you put Matterports up there. So yeah, that's one thing Airbnb might want to get into is letting people do 3D design walkthroughs. Then they ain't gonna have all those questions, man.
Man, it's funny you should say that because my buddy at work who's got his first Airbnb up, all excited about it, that Shreveport house, and he's like, man, I'm just getting all VRBO bookings. I'm not getting any Airbnb bookings. I'm like, no, that's a good thing, dude. You'd rather get VRBO than Airbnb. I told him, VRBO is like Target and Airbnb is like Walmart. So you really want to, you're getting a good clientele going on there. So yeah, VRBO is very thoughtful.
By the way, and for people who are in areas like, Shreveport because I get a lot of VRBOs in Arkansas, but definitely check out the Direct Book Workbook. Go through that with Mark Simpson. Dude, he tells you exactly why you're getting VRBO bookings. It's because you have to find out who's spending money in those areas. Like VRBO, they're probably spending ad dollars inside of Shreveport. And that's why you're probably getting those VRBO listings. And you can also decide even if it's worth listing on VRBO or listing on Airbnb. You want to be everywhere, but you want to, make sure your time's well spent. But yeah, I've been going through that workbook, and that's been really helping me on where to list and how to set up everything. So yeah, VRBO's not a bad thing at all.
Cool, man. So we're going to say our goodbyes, and then we're going to keep rolling and do our thing after this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank y'all for listening, tuning in. LiveThatThrive@gmail.com, LiveThatThrive.com. My company, Argest Rentals, ARGEST Rentals. We can manage your place. We can help you find places. We can help you find turnkey too. We're doing all this stuff right now, and Airbnb going on too, right, Myka?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can really, if you've got any ugly houses, that's what we're looking for. Ugly houses. Send those our way. And we have a few listings coming up. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and also Google. You can find all of our Google stuff. But yeah, anyways, find us, LiveThatThrive@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. I'm about to get back active, so I'll be back on trying to provide as much value as possible. And we are out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.